All right, let's discuss what's going on in the party and the state of play in the election. We have former political director for George W. Bush, Matt Schlapp. He supports Donald Trump. And CNN political commentator Symone Sanders, former national press secretary for Bernie Sanders, no relation, now a Clinton supporter. So let's put up the tweet. Let's see what's going on here. Trump puts up a tweet saying, despite big win in the landslide, every poll, not true. The scientific poll, the CNN poll, he did not win. He lost handily. He's talking about online surveys. They're garbage. So he is laying blame there, Matt Schlapp, because look what's happening in your party. Put up the faces. 32. This is a wall of heroes or this is a wanted poster, depending on your perspective. What's going on within the GOP?
Chris, I think you've got it right. We're not unified. And it makes it awfully tough to win a nationwide election when you're not unified. But by the same token, one of Donald Trump's biggest strengths is that he's taking on Washington. And he's fairly critical of Congress, including Republicans in Congress. So there's always been an icy relationship between Donald Trump and Congress. And when this tape came out, politicians do what politicians do. They did what they thought was in their interest. And that's what's happening here. Politicians are trying to navigate the situation so that they can win in November. And I can't really say I blame them for that, but as a Republican, I'm sad that we're not more unified.
Well, quick follow on that. Do you believe that Donald Trump is somebody who should galvanize support? Are you proud to get behind him, given all that's come to light?
I'm disgusted by what came out in that tape. I said it immediately. I think it's
well, then why say it's just a political calculation? Maybe they're making a moral calculation, an integrity-based calculation.
Well, because the problem with that, Chris, as you know, is that we're running against a candidate who has been involved in scandals for 25 years that are incredibly serious in nature, starting with, I mean, if you go through all of that, you didn't even bring up in your two stories, one of the things about that debate that was so interesting is he brought those 4 women to the debate, and we might not like to talk about it, but that is a part of the record. And Hillary Clinton has her own scandals, from everything from stealing $20,000 of White House furniture to lying about her server, lying about her emails, lying to the families of the Benghazi victims. I mean, Chris, it's fair to say that the Clintons have their own checkered past of scandals that are incredibly more serious.
All right, so
and
let's
in
get
the process, they've gotten rich.
So Schlapp says it's okay to back Trump because the Clintons are just as bad as he is, and he references those 4 women that were brought connected to Bill Clinton's sexploits. Do you see that as a fair equivalency?
I don't. You know, I like Matt Schlapp, so unfortunately,
not me.
Unfortunately, though, it's not okay. Look, Donald Trump has disparaged every single person possible in this election. Women, African Americans, or the blacks, as he likes to call us, the Hispanic community, the disabled community, the Muslim community, Gold Star families, veterans, Republicans, and Democrats. So I really don't see how anyone can say that Donald Trump is a candidate worth getting behind. But again, you know, I'm not a Republican, so that's not my fight over there.
Well, it's a relative assessment. Talking about unity on the GOP side, you have a little bit of the same problem on the Democratic side, and it manifested differently.
I think we're unified.
But manifested differently, though. So Trump gets up there during the debate and says, Bernie was right, bad judgment. Bernie was right, bad judgment. You would usually expect Bernie Sanders to then come out and say, no, good judgment compared to Trump. Haven't heard it. It's part of the reason because of what came out in WikiLeaks. More proof that that party was tilted in favor of Hillary Clinton's campaign. Tough spot for you, Sanders, because now you're trying to be objective as a Democrat, but you were in that campaign. Proof comes out, they were against you.
I was in that campaign, and look, I've noted, Chris, that there were definitely people within the Democratic National Committee that didn't stay objective, that did pick sides, and lots of those people are no longer at the committee anymore and are no longer leading the party. Look, I think our party is united. I definitely think the senator noted that he did have some issues with what was in those emails and what he saw in the WikiLeaks, but the fact of the matter is that we have the most progressive platform in the Democratic Party's history, and what's in that platform is what Secretary Clinton and the Clinton campaign and the Sanders campaign and Bernie Sanders have said that we're going to fight for as Democrats and down ballot Democrats all across this country. So we're not concerned, and I don't think we have the same issue that the Republicans have. They're in a civil war. They are fighting for the life of their party right now. We know who we are as Democrats. The Republicans have no idea who they are.
Matt?
Yeah, well, I just would say, you know, Symone, by the way, I like you too, Symone. I don't know about Cuomo either. But I think your platform example of the Democratic platform is a great example as to why conservatives and most Republicans believe that this election is incredibly important. We all know we're sitting here right now with the Supreme Court deadlocked at 4-4, and the next president's going to have their first decision be who is that 9th Supreme Court justice. And I don't want to get personal, but there are several other justices that are a little long in the tooth, and you could see 2 to 4 picks by the next president of the United States. You also see what the Obama administration, which Clinton wants to continue, this war on our own energy production, this war on coal. If you go through issue after issue after issue, the Obama agenda scares a lot of people in this country. Obamacare has never been a popular initiative, and we're all seeing the impact in our pocketbooks. And furthermore, the economy is weak. And so as a conservative and a Republican, how could we do anything that would allow for a third Obama term? And that is the moral question and the political question we're faced with, Chris. I don't think it's actually that complicated.
Well, Chris, wait. You know, we have had job growth. Actually, we've had, 25, 26 straight months of job growth in this country. Obamacare, the Affordable Health Care Act, has led to 25 million plus Americans having insurance, people that previously had pre-existing conditions that could not get health care, people in Matt's party actually that have benefited from the Affordable Health Care Act. So let's not sit here and act as though the Obama years have been horrible. President Obama pulled this country out of the ditch that the Republican Party drove it into, and Hillary Clinton is going to take that to the next level. Look, the Republican Party is bleeding out. They are bleeding out. They're hemorrhaging. And I just want to remind people that today is the last day to register to vote in places like Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Florida.
You got 500,000 people who have already voted. Matt, put a quick button on this, and I have a last question for you.
Okay. Well, just quickly, there's a big differential between Obama's popularity and Hillary Clinton's popularity. And I'm not talking about just what I think about these issues. Look at the polls. A majority of Americans, 70% of Americans, believe that we're on the wrong track, and they think the economy is in the ditch. This isn't me saying this. This is the American people saying this. There is a deep discontent in the American electorate, which is why Bernie Sanders did so well and why Donald Trump did so well.
All right,
let's
last
be
question.
honest.
Last question. You're about to roll the bones here, Matt Schlapp. You're coming into the final 4 weeks. Donald Trump seems to believe that he can win this election if he can tear down Bill Clinton and take Hillary along with him. Do you back that proposition?
But I think both candidates believe that. I was called deplorable, and I think that was a big mistake on Hillary Clinton's
She didn't call you deplorable.
I think the candidate...
You know she wasn't talking about you. You know she was talking about the alt-right, and you do not identify as that. You are not a bigot.
She said... Okay, I'm not a bigot, but she said 50% of his supporters are
deplorable. And then she corrected it and said, I was talking, that was too big a number. I shouldn't have said that. But there is a group that has attached itself. You know what she said, but go ahead, make your point.
Okay, my point is this, which is the candidate will win who is able to connect with the discontent out there in the electorate. And that's primarily in the economy. It also involves our national security, and it involves a broken Washington. Yes, Donald Trump is pushing back on these allegations, but in the end, he will only win this race if he connects to voters on those central issues.
Matt Schlapp, Simone Sanders, good to have you both. Schlapp, you know I love you. You're always welcome on this show, but your wife is nicer.
Okay, fair enough.